Okay, very good afternoon to one and all. Today, in the yesterday's class, we have started with the concept of module 4, that is user-defined functions and recursion. So, in a quick fashion, I'll just recapitulate everything. So, in the previous class, we started with the meaning of what is a function. Actually, what are the two categories of C functions, that is user-defined functions and library functions we discussed. And then what is the need for using these user-defined functions also we saw. So instead of coding the whole program of 1000 to 2000 lines, instead of try to partition that program and code those parts independently and combine them once again to obtain the results. So those subprograms are, so those independently coded programs are nothing but the subprograms. In the C programming language, we call such subprograms as the functions. Okay, what is the main advantage of using that division approach means it facilitates our top-down modular programming. Length of the program is very much reduced, and it can be used in many other programs also. Okay, so some of them are the advantages, and this diagram, it represents the top-down modular programming with the help of functions. Okay, so main program is also your user-defined function. In the main program, you would have written small independent coded units, function A, function B, and function C. In function B itself, we have two more independent coded parts, that is B1 and B2. Okay, so combine B1 and B2 together to run the function B. Thereafter, combine function A, function B, and function C in the main program and completely run the program as a single unit so that the output can be obtained in a very efficient fashion. Okay, so this is the meaning of the multi-function program. That means the function is nothing but a self-contained block of code which is going to perform some particular task actually. So that particular piece of code or the block of code which does the particular task is nothing but the function. Okay, yes, sir. And this program segment illustrates the flow of control, how it happens in the program when one or more functions has been written. Okay, yes. And then we saw the important concept, that is modular programming. What is the importance of modular programming? Where exactly it has been used? In the case of development and design of software systems, we are mainly using this modular programming actually. Okay, some of its characteristics also we discussed actually. And next one is very important concept, that is your elements of user-defined function. Basically, if you consider the name of the function or the functions, whatever it may be, it can be declared or it can be used as with the same as your ordinary variables, or we can also consider those names of the functions as your identifiers, and we already we need to stick to the rules to be followed while using the identifiers, and the same rules has to be followed for the functions also. And unlike the ordinary variables, each function has also have its own data type. For example, I might have used a variable by name A which is of type integer. Similarly, if I want to write a function, I need to have its own data type. For example, I want to perform addition of two numbers. That means what is the type of data type I can give? I can either give it as an integer or a floating point data type or double data type also. And like any other variables, before if you are using in your program, it has to be first declared as well as initialized. In the similar fashion, before using that particular function in your program, that function has to be declared and initialized. Okay, so in order to make the use of these user-defined functions, we consider three very important elements. Those important elements are your function definition, function call, and function declaration. In the yesterday session, we saw the brief meanings of this function definition, function call, calling function, as well as function declaration or the function prototype. Okay, for example, what is this function call means? If you want to use a function, it has to be invoked as and when required in the program. So that process is nothing but the function call. The program which is going to call that particular function is nothing but your calling program or the calling function. So in most of the programs, main function is going to be your calling function. Okay, and the calling program should declare any function. like a declaring variable which can be used in the program later. That is nothing but the function declaration or the function prototype. Okay, so and then we saw the importance of this function definition or the definition of functions. Function definition is also called as the function implementation. So this function definition, it contains basically 6 important parameters. First one is the function name, function type, list of parameters, local variable declarations, function statements, and a return statement. So these 6 elements, it can be grouped into 2 important parts. The first 3 parameters comes in the function header. Next 3 important parameters comes in the function body. That means function name, function type, and the list of parameters, they constitute function header. Local variable declarations, function statements, and the return value or the return statement, they constitute function body. Okay, and we also saw the importance of this function header as well as the function body. Correct, right? This is how the general format of the function definition looks like. Function type, function name, and the parameter list. After that, we will open the flower brace. There we are going to declare some local variables if required. Then we will write some executable statements, and then after the completion of writing, we are going to close the curly braces. Sorry, flower braces, like that. Okay, so we also saw the importance of these 2 important parts, function header as well as the function body. Function header contains function type, function name, and the parameter list. Function type is nothing but the data type associated or the return type associated for the function. Okay, and here one more important thing you should observe: semicolon should not be used at the end of the function header. Okay, function name is nothing but the name given by the user. Function type is the data type of the particular function. So if you have not given any name to the function, by default the type of the function is your void. Okay, yes, and then we have the parameter list. Basically those parameters are called as formal parameters. What is that formal parameter and actual parameter? Once I take up the programming session, I'll explain. Okay, so now up to this much, you please understand the parameter list is nothing but the number of arguments we are going to give to the function for its smooth execution. Understand? So these are some of the valid syntaxes or the valid examples that can constitute the function header. Here we have considered some examples such as double power. So power is going to help in finding out the power of a number. So that means the type of the power function is double, which is having the data, which is having the arguments double x comma int n. So here x is nothing but your base and int n is nothing but your exponent. Okay, and then if you observe this example, int sum of int a comma b, this is illegal, sir. We know the data type of a is an integer. What about b? We have not specified, so that should not happen. Okay, suppose if you have not given any parameter list in your function head, no problem, the function will execute normally. The keyword void can be used in such places between the parentheses like this. Example, suppose we have declared a function called as println. Here we have not specified even the data type for that particular function also. The default data type we have considered here is void, and no parameter has been listed here. So what is the default parameter list we have? It has taken void, like that. Okay, and one more thing is also possible. Instead of that even missing the void also, just simply close the opening and closing braces. That is also possible. There also no error is occurred. Okay, and next one is your function body. Function body basically contains 3 important parts as discussed earlier. First one is the local variable declarations, and that means the variables needed by that particular function. That's all. Those are nothing but the local variables. Global variables and local variables I will explain as I told in the yesterday's class when I take up the concept of scope, visibility, and lifetime of the variables. Okay, and next is the function statement, which is going to perform what exactly the task has to be done. Next one is the return statement. Return statement is nothing but the result obtained after the completion of your execution of a function. Okay, that is nothing but the return value. Okay, so this program segment, it is going to explain your function body. So here, see here, we have taken a function called as multiplication, wherein which it is performing multiplication of two numbers. What is the type of the multiplication function? It is float. So what are the parameters or the arguments we have considered? It is x and y, which are of both floating point. So now, what is the local variable we are supposed to use here? Result, which stores the value of the product of two numbers x and y. So now what result has to do? Perform the multiplication x into y. After performing the result, what it has to do? It has to return the result. Okay, like that we can able to constitute this whole function definition. Understand? Yes. So this is regarding your function header and function body. Next one is your very important concept, the return values and their types. Return values are nothing but the result after the completion of the execution of a function. So a function may or may not send back the value to the calling function. So if it gives some value, that is nothing but your return statement. That is done through the help of return statement. Okay. What is the syntax of this return statement? Is simply return ending with semicolon or return expression. Okay, and the expression can take any value, whatever it may be. For example, let us consider the two cases. Here, let us consider an example. If there is an error, return. That's all. What it has to return, we don't know. Simply it is returning some value. Next one is return, which is in the form of an expression. For example, they have given p is equal to x star y, performing the multiplication of two numbers. After the performing of multiplication of two numbers, what it has to return? The result p. Here p is an expression, okay, which returns the product. So this is also one variation in the return statement. Next one, we can also include the compound statements in the return also. For example, see, instead of writing p is equal to x star y, simply consider return x star y. What it is going to return? The product of those two numbers. Okay, that is also possible in this variation also. Next one, if you are concerned with some conditional basis, certain conditions if you want to check. For example, let us consider this code snippet. If x is less than or equal to 0, if the condition is true, then it is going to return 0. Otherwise, it returns 1. Like that. That is also possible in the case. That variation is also allowed in the ANSI. Okay. Yes. And then, for example, here one more situation you need to observe, that is the usage of the conversions here. For example, the product function, whatever we have written, it is of type integer. Okay. Here we have not passed any parameters. Simply we have written in the return statement, return 2.5 into 3.0. Here the parameters are floating point variables, but observe the type of the function. It is integer. Then what will be its result? It has to be the integer itself. The return type of this function is an integer. Once the product has been calculated, the decimal part will be truncated. Only integer part will be obtained as the result. Okay, that is also possible in the case of return statement. Okay, yes. So that much was discussed in the yesterday's class. So now let us take up the very important concept, that is function calls. Okay, let us take up the function calls. Okay, yes. So please write down the heading as function calls. Let us discuss this now. Function calls. Okay, so function calls are nothing but the call simply using the function name followed by a list of actual parameters. See, there is one more type of parameter called as an actual parameter. What is this actual parameter and the formal parameter? We will be discussing once I take up passing the arguments to the functions. Okay, so function call is nothing but calling that particular function, simply using the function name along with the list of parameters or the arguments, that is which is enclosed in the parenthesis. That is nothing but your function call. So please have a look in the code snippet. So here we can observe main function. In the main I have taken y. which is of type integer. Y is equal to multiplication of 10 comma y. This is nothing but your function call. This is nothing but your function call. Y is equals to multiply of 10 comma 5, which is nothing but the function call. Okay, y is your result, okay, or the variable which stores the result after multiplication operation. Mul is nothing but the function to perform multiplication. 10 and 5 are nothing but your actual parameters or the arguments which has to be passed to the function to perform multiplication. Okay, so this is in the main function actually. So we have not written the code for multiplication operation in the function body or in the function declaration. Okay, so after this printf statement which prints the result. So in the next slide, let us see how it exactly works. In the previous function, we have called our functions as multiplication. Now I have to return the function declaration, okay, which performs the multiplication of two numbers. Carefully observe the code here. Int y, y is equal to multiply of 10 comma 5. That is nothing but your function call. That is nothing but the function call. Okay, like an ordinary variable, I have called my function now. So once the control comes to this statement, y is equal to multiply of 10 comma 5, the control will automatically moves here. The control will automatically moves to the function declaration. Okay, so now we have written int multiply of int x comma int y. See the function header. What is the type of the function? It is integer. Name of the function is your multiplication, and the list of formal parameters. The list of formal parameters which takes the values from the arguments which is been called in the main. Okay, yes, in the main we have taken two parameters 10 and 5. In the calling for in the function declaration, it is going to take those values. That means x will take the value 10, y will take the value 5. Understand? Yes. Next, open the flower braces in the function declaration, start the function body. Now declare the local variable to perform the multiplication, int p. That is your local variable. That means the usage of p, it is only restricted in the multiplication function, that's all, not in the complete program. That is why it is called as local variable. Understand? Next, perform the multiplication operation. P is equals to x star y. What is the value of x? It is 10. What is the value of y? It is 5. So what is 10 into 5? It is 50. So what is the value present in P now? It is 50. Upon successful completion, P is going to be returned. The multiply function returns the result 50, which will be copied to the variable y. Which will be copied to the variable y. Once the function has been completed its execution, it is going to print the result printf 50. Okay, that is how your function declaration and the function call is going to work. Understand, sir? Understand? Any doubts you have? Any doubts? Okay. You have any doubts, sir?
Yes, sir. In the function call, sir.
Yes, sir. Please tell me.
Sir, so whenever we call main, does this function get executed, or whenever we call mul, does it get executed?
Yes, actually, in the main, we need to write this function which has to be executed. Okay, so
yes.
Once the control comes into this particular loop, y is equal to mul of 10 comma 5, the control will automatically go to this function, whatever we have written, whatever it has been written. Okay, first the function has to be called like an ordinary variable.
Okay, sir.
Then only it will start its execution. Okay. Any other doubts? Anybody having? Anybody having? Yes, Vivek, you have doubts?
No, sir.
Sir,
No.
Okay. Anyone? Anybody?
excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes, please, sir. Yes,
Sir,
please. Ah,
sir. So in the previous example, you told that for
ah,
in the print, sir, in the 21st slide,
25.
like it
Okay.
takes void.
Here. Okay, here. This one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here, what is the type of the function here? That is the data type associated for the product function. It is integer. Correct, right?
The
It
return
is
type.
integer.
Yes, sir.
Return type is integer. But in the parameter list, we have not listed any of the arguments. Straight away in the return statement, I have defined the two values, 2.5 into 3, which are of floating point. But actually, what should be the result? The return type only, what is the return, that return type has to be, that return type will be the answer for that particular function, whatever we have written. Okay, so here it is floating point. At the end of the result, it will be done with implicit conversion. Implicit conversion takes place, then 7 is going to be printed as the result, leaving 0.5 bracket. Okay, yes. Shall we continue? Okay, so we will continue. This is how the examples. Please write down these things. Please write down the valid examples of the function called multiplication of 10 comma 5. That is valid. Multiplication of m comma 5. That is also valid. The user may give the value of m in the function itself. That is also possible. Next one. You please observe in the compound statement here. Multiplication of m plus 5 comma 10. So first user is going to define the value to the m, then it is going to be added with 5, then that single result it will be multiplied with 10. That is also possible. Okay, those are some of the variations in which the function must be invoked or the function call can be done. Okay, yes. Next one. This also you please observe. Here we can also have in the compound statement multiply of p comma q divided by p plus q. So here what it happens? First, multiply of p comma q will be executed. That result it is going to be divided with p plus q. Okay, that is how this function will work. Please write down this one. Write down these 4 lines. That is also possible. And one more thing you need to observe, sir. The function which does not return any return values. Suppose the function, if it is not providing any return values, it cannot be used in our functions. And it can be called for some other task to perform. Okay, that is also possible. See here, void in the main, simply we have called print line. That is not returning anything. That can be used for some other purpose. That is also possible in the function code.
Sir, does the return statement work just like the print statement?
No. Return is nothing but the result after the execution of function. Ashta. Return is the result actually. Hello? Okay. Yes. Let us move further. Next one is your function declaration. Please write down the function declaration. Function declaration part, let us consider now. Okay. Like other variables, whatever we have seen in our programs, the functions, whatever we have written in your program also has to be declared before they are invoked. Okay, so the function declaration, it is also called as the function prototype. It mainly consists of 4 parts. Basically, it mainly contains 4 parts: the function type or the return type, whatever we have discussed, function name, parameter list, and the terminating semicolon. So please write down these 4 important parts: the function type, function name, parameter list, and the terminating semicolon. Okay, so it can be written in the following syntax like this: function type, function name, parameter list. Function type, function name, parameter list with the terminating semicolon. That is nothing but your function declaration, not your function call. Once the function has been declared, then only the function call has to be written. Okay, don't get confused with the function declaration and the function call. So once I take up the programming session on this particular topic, then all your doubts will get clear. Okay, so write this example: int multiply of int m comma int n. What is the return type for this function? It is integer. Name of the function is your multiply. The parameter list m and n, ending with semicolon. Okay, that is how the function declaration has to be done. Next, let us consider a few more examples. See here, int mul of int comma int. That is also possible. That is also possible. It can take any 2 arguments which is of type integer. Mul of int a comma int b. That is also possible. We have not specified the exact return type, but the default return type is your void. That is how it is going to work. Basically, we can able to declare this function before the main or inside the main also. Suppose we have declared the function above the main function. Okay, that is nothing but your global prototype that can be used by any other functions in your program. Suppose if you are placing that particular function definition only in that piece of main, then it is called as the local prototype. So basically, please make the function declaration globally. That gives more effective results. Understand? So global prototype and local prototype, that is very, very important. So these are some of the variations we can able to follow in the function declaration. So function declaration, once it has been done like an ordinary variable, call the function. Once the function has been called, do the function execution. Okay, that is how the flow of control will take place. In the most of the cases, main will be your calling function. Okay, so this is regarding your major elements of the user defined function: function definition, function declaration, function call. Understand, sir? Understand? Any doubts you have? You can ask. Any doubts you have?
No, sir.
Okay. So in the evening session, I will take up the programming classes. So there we will come to know what exactly is this function call, function declaration, and function definition. Whether to declare that function globally or locally, and different variations of the return statement, the categories of functions, everything we are going to see in the evening session. Okay, sir? Okay? Anything you want to add on to my words? You are most welcome. You are most welcome. No, na. Marboda.
Sir, can you give an example of the local prototype?
Okay. In the evening, I'll definitely explain that exactly how it works. Okay. So basically, 99% of the programmers, they don't go for this local prototype. They will mostly use this global prototype, sir. Okay. So it increases the efficiency of the program. We can able to use that function throughout the program actually. That's why we will go with the global prototype. Understand? So in the Next class, I will explain how the function can be done with the help of local prototypes.
Okay, sir.
Yes, anyone? Okay, so we will take up the categories of functions in the evening session, and also the different types of parameters. So note down the two types of parameters we have, that is the formal parameters and the actual parameters. How the working of these actual parameters and formal parameters work, you will see in the programs. Okay, very important concept. So after this, we have nested functions, and then one more important concept here waiting for you, that is recursion. And later we have passing the arguments to the functions, pass by value and pass by reference. So after that, we will end up this module also. So until then, I hope there are no doubts you have.
No, sir.
Okay.